Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. Today I will be making my favorite cookie recipe, old-fashioned iced oatmeal cookies. This video is part of a cookie challenge collab hosted by Tiffany at Smalltown Six. I'll link Tiffany's channel as well as a collab playlist below. As soon as you're done watching my video, be sure to check out the playlist for lots of yummy cookie recipes. If you're coming to my channel from the playlist, welcome. I do weekly what's for dinner videos and grocery hauls and other foodie content as well. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll consider subscribing to my channel. If you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. Let's get into the recipe. Here are the ingredients that you'll need. You'll need some butter, eggs, and I'll make sure to include the recipe in the description box below for this. You'll need some salt, some baking soda, baking powder, ground cinnamon, some ground nutmeg, milk, oats, all-purpose flour, some regular granulated sugar, some powdered sugar, and then some brown sugar. To get started, I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees. In this small food processor, I am going to add in my oats, and you want to pulse these until the oats are partly ground. You want them to be coarse. You don't want them to be a really fine powder, so you just have to do it for a few seconds. Once that's done, I'm going to add those to a bowl. I'm going to add the flour, baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon, nutmeg, and salt, and then I will mix that until it's well combined and set that aside. While I'm doing that, I want to make a quick note about these cookies. I've mentioned several times on my channel before that I'm not a huge sweets person. If I want a treat, I usually reach for something salty like chips, but there are a couple of exceptions to that, and iced oatmeal cookies are one of them. I've loved them ever since I was a kid, and I used to just get them, at the grocery store in the cookie aisle, but when I came across this recipe a few years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to give these a try. These cookies are delicious. They are so good. I can't make them very often because my husband and I will eat far too many. But when I heard about this challenge, I wanted to share this recipe. So if you like those iced oatmeal cookies, definitely give these a try. And I don't know why, but these are even better the next day. They're so good. In a separate large mixing bowl, I've added in my butter and I'm going to melt that in the microwave for a few seconds. Then I'm going to add in my granulated sugar and the brown sugar. You don't want to add the powdered sugar at this stage. You'll save that for the icing. I'm going to add the sugar to the butter and then mix that until it's well combined. You can use a hand mixer or stand mixer if you would prefer, but I'm just using this to make it easy. And once I've got that mixed together, I'm going to add in my eggs one at a time, stirring well in between adding each egg. Next, I'm going to add in my dry ingredients and stir that until it's well combined. You want to be careful and not overmix this, but you do want to make sure you get everything stirred together really well. I'm going to spray my cookie sheets with some cooking spray, and then I'm going to place the cookie dough onto the cookie sheets. I like to use one of these cookie scoops, but you can just use a rounded tablespoon, and you want to place these a couple of inches apart. Now, like I said, I don't make these super often because they're just way too tempting for me to have in my house, and I had forgotten on this first batch that I like to do this. I would suggest allowing the batter to set on your counter for about 5 to 10 minutes before you scoop out the cookies. Now, you don't have to do this, but the reason that I like to do this is so that the dough firms back up a little bit. Because you use melted butter in this recipe, if you don't let it firm up a little bit, the cookies can spread out a little thin for my particular liking. If you like thin cookies, that's not a problem. Like I said, you don't have to let it set on your counter, but if you like a chewier cookie, if I could talk, cookie like I do, I would suggest letting it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. But once I get my cookie dough scooped out, I'm going to place these into the oven and cook them for about 14 to 16 minutes or until the edges start to get just golden brown. Once the cookies are done, you'll want to let them cool on the cookie sheet for about 5 minutes and then transfer them to a wire rack. Once they are cooled completely, you'll want to ice them. Now, if you see, I have some paper towels under my cookie rack. That's just so that if the icing drips off, I can just throw the paper towels away and it doesn't make a big mess. In this small mixing bowl, I'm going to add in my powdered sugar and the milk and whisk that until it's well combined and all of the lumps are out. You want it to be a little bit on the thicker side, so if it's a little thin, you can add a little bit more powdered sugar. Then I'm going to dip the tops of the cookies into that icing and then set them back on the wire rack, and again allow that to harden and cool completely. And here are the finished cookies. You will want to store these in an airtight container, and like I said, for whatever reason I feel like they're even better the next day, but these are so yummy. I highly recommend that you give this recipe a try. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and make sure to check out Tiffany's channel and the collab playlist. I'll include their links in the description box below. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.